Hey everybody, it's Trisha, Feeling Good Fitness. Happy Family Friday. Really excited and kind of nervous to video this for you. So I was just recording upstairs and I realized I didn't have it on record and was talking for about 5 minutes. So took that as a sign to come out here in the nice, beautiful weather. I am from Cleveland, so we haven't had a ton of great spring or summer weather. It's been pretty cold and rainy, and today is like one of the best days we've had in a while. So hopefully we have a nice weekend here. I'm really excited for it. So let me tell you about myself. I am 37 years old, and I have 2 younger kids, Sam and Ben. I am a boy mom. I'm glad I'm a boy mom. I don't think I'd make a good girl mom. Growing up, I was a bit of a tomboy myself, so this has worked out well for me. Sam is 9 and going into the 4th grade, and Ben is 7 going into the 2nd grade. So we are definitely, I often kid with my friends and the teachers at school that, you know, they passed 1st grade or 2nd grade, but mom has failed 1st grade and 2nd grade because it's really hard for me to keep up with everything, and I feel like I'm constantly dropping the ball with their school stuff. But I have an amazing husband, Russ. We met in 1994 at a pizza shop, and he made pizzas, I did dishes. I had known of him growing up because he always used to play tennis at the tennis courts, but he went to public school, I went to private school, so we didn't end up really crossing paths until we met at the pizza shop. Fast forward, went to the same college, so we both went down to school in Southern Ohio at Ohio University. Go Bobcats, if there's any Bobcats out there. So we've been married for 14 years, coming up in this November. So hasn't always been amazing, but it's definitely getting to be really amazing, and most of that has had to do with me and Beachbody, so really glad for that. I have a couple of siblings, so I have 2 brothers and a sister. They're all older than I. There's about 10 years difference between my youngest brother and me. He's 47, I'm 37, so I was a little bit of a oops, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So I tend to think I keep my mom and dad pretty young, even though they're actually getting really old. So I think I gave them something to keep them young as they went through their 60s with a 18-year-old, so kind of funny. Always have lived in Cleveland, Ohio, so I always feel really bad telling people that. I feel like I should have moved somewhere after school and kind of migrated back to Ohio, but I'm kind of a homebody. I would like to move somewhere else, and I think my husband and I would like to move somewhere else. I don't know where we would move, though. I joke a lot about going off grid, moving to Wyoming or someplace really up in the mountains somewhere. I don't know if I'd really ever do it. I wouldn't leave my parents at this point, so I think if there was a time when they pass on and I don't really have anything holding me here, and you know, maybe I have a work from home gig, kind of like this Beachbody thing, I think I would be more open to kind of uproot us and move along. My brother lives in Colorado Springs. He's a figure skating coach, so it would be nice to be a little bit closer to him because we don't see each other very frequently. For my day job, I work for a company called Brand Muscle. We are a marketing technology company. I've been there for 13 years, and when I started, it was very much of a startup. So I grew with the company. Prior to working with them, I did some other marketing and advertising things, and really like the entrepreneurial mentality, startup mentality. You know, every day is different, and kind of catapulted my career there. So been there for quite some time. In my role there, I manage their operations team. So we do new client onboarding. So once sales sells our software, we go and do needs assessment and figure out how the clients, sorry for the loud lawnmowers out here. We do needs assessment for our customers and figure out how they're going to use our tool, how we're going to implement the tool, all the things in the project plan that need to be done in order to secure that launch date, timelines and deliverables and things like that. And then just recently, this past week, we had a reorg, so my role's changing a little bit, but I guess it's changing for the good. It just seems pretty, it's definitely a good thing. It's just different, but I'm really happy because my new role will be managing our product releases and having a product manager report into me, which my company has not had, which is interesting for a technical company. So I've often recommended that, so they finally have taken me up on it, so I guess I'm glad that they've taken my recommendation, but just a little scared because it'll be something new for me to do when I get back from vacation. So I'm on vacation next week, so I'll be jumping into that new role when I go back. But on the flip side of that, I think that's the one thing that drew me to being a Beachbody coach. So I've always wanted to do my own thing. I knew that very early on coming out of school that I didn't want to work for somebody, but I didn't know what to do, how to do it. I have like a bazillion app ideas. I just need to find the time to get them off the ground. I have a girl that I work with. She and I brainstorm quite a bit, but we're both busy moms and we both work in the same type of company, so we don't have much time to get our ideas off the ground. Fast forward to Beachbody, I think that's part of why it's fuels my passion, because I can do my own thing. I could test things out, see what works, see what doesn't. So I love that. And then add that added bonus on top of it of helping people, which, you never really know that you're not living your passion until you actually start doing something that you're passionate about. So, I'm in love with being a Beachbody coach, as hard as it is some days. So how did I get involved in Beachbody? I got involved a couple of different times, to be honest. So in 2012, I started with TurboFire, and I was in such a bad place then with my self-image that I couldn't continue. I couldn't bear to see myself jumping around. I used to work out in the garage because it was summertime and it was cool. When I would catch a glimpse of myself in the side door of the garage window, it did nothing for my ego. Like, I felt awful about myself. I felt terrible about myself. I wasn't having any results, even though I was bouncing around doing cardio at Chalene. So that kind of ended, crash and burn. And then 2013, in December, I started doing P90X3 with my husband. We both lost about 10 pounds and didn't keep up with it after the first month. So again, up until this point, I wasn't able to successfully do anything consistently in my life. It was like I wanted it, but I wasn't really ready to back it up. And then I just posted about this on my page last week. Last year was just kind of that point where I knew I needed to do something, and if I didn't change, I was going to have to do something else. So I am pretty open about on my page about struggling with panic and anxiety. I have some mental health issues in my family. My mom's a schizophrenic, so it worries me a lot when I feel really stressed and worried because I know some of that's hereditary. So it's a pretty sensitive topic for me. But last year I was just miserable. I wasn't sleeping. My heart would skip beats like all day long. I would feel like I was just going to drop dead. I would feel like my pulsing in my artery here, and I just wasn't right. I was worried all the time, and so I had been following Ashley for, I don't know, probably 6 months, maybe more, I don't know. And she started posting about the reset, and I knew that was like my last effort to try to fix me, is to really just kind of get on track with an awesome eating plan. Whether, at that point I was skeptical of it, but I knew I needed to try something. And Ashley was just that person for me. She was smiling and sunshine and happy all the time. And I think on one of her posts one day, I even commented, "I wish I was her neighbor," because she just seemed like such a cool person and positive person to have kind of in your life. So I don't know if you remember that comment, Ashley. You were probably like, who's this weirdo? So my first committed program was the Reset, and I loved it, and that's when I decided I wanted to coach. because people were asking me about it, and I learned while I was on it. Really kind of, I was a grazer and a snacker and jelly bellies all day long and sweet tarts and diet sodas, not every day, but I thought I was eating healthy, but I wasn't consistent about it. So I would fall off track and just downward spiral and never get back on track. So started with the reset, lost about 7 pounds, and then I started with the 21-day fix right after that, and then that's when most of my 40 pounds started falling off, literally. Followed it up with PiYo, did Insanity Max 30 this wintertime, which I loved. I just haven't been able to get back into it, but I do want to do it. But I'm going to be doing the reset again. I started that, I think, July 21st last year, so I plan to do it every year around July. So that's my Beachbody story. I really want to make the coaching thing work. I really love helping people. The last 2 months I haven't hit Success Club, and I know that's hard for me because I also feel like I'm not helping people. And it's the money's great, but I like talking to people. I like getting people converted from, a not so healthy lifestyle to a more healthy lifestyle. But I am working with people, even though I haven't kind of hit those Success Club goals, and so that's keeping me going, fueling my passion, whether I have that number in back office or not. What other stuff can I tell you? Favorite colors, I'd have to say blue, not light blue, like blue-gray, washed out blue, denim kind of blue. I like blue, have a lot of blue. I also like jewel tones, so like an emerald green or a royal blue. People tend to tell me those colors look great on me. I also have a hard time taking compliments, but I tend to buy them since I always seem to get compliments when people, I have blue on my headband. I like this color blue a lot too. I don't think this was on the list, but I'm not really, I am like Target and Kohl's shopper all dang day. That's like, those are the stores that I go to. So if you ever see me in my post, aside from my very small Fabletics addiction, everything I wear is pretty much from Target and Kohl's. Favorite healthy food is lentils. On the reset, I learned all about lentils, and on the reset, I didn't tell you this. The reset turned me vegetarian. Can you believe that? So I don't eat meat anymore. But I've never felt better. So that's kind of interesting. I was never able to eat my way back to turkey and chicken, or even a steak. So I am now vegetarian. And I guess I'm not really vegetarian. It's called pescatarian because I do eat some fish, but I don't really like fish. So the only fish I eat is salmon. So I'm not even sure if that's called anything. So I have salmon twice a week, eggs 2 days a week, and then I have my Shakeology. And I do just a little bit of dairy. So that was actually kind of important, and I completely didn't even think to tell you guys that. Favorite not healthy food is pizza. I could eat pizza all day long, and it's easy because I can eat it as a vegetarian. I tend to rationalize it since it's not fast food, but it is kind of fast food. But we make a lot of fun pizzas at home that are more healthy with sprouted grain crust, and I love anything Mexican. I would say Mexican is my favorite cuisine, so we do a lot of guacamole, black beans, fresh salsa, cheddar cheese, a little bit of cheddar cheese on top of the pizza, that kind of stuff with fresh spinach, onion, tomato, pepper toppings. So I tend to think that I could not live without pizza, and that's why I think I like the fix so much. I'm not a huge wine drinker. I also was getting ocular migraines when I drink red wine, where you kind of get an aura in your eye, and then you get lacy vision, and then like you lose part vision in your eye, and it tends to come from cheese and alcohol, specifically wine. So I gave that up. I only have wine every once in a while, but I'm a huge beer girl. So beer is my kryptonite, especially in the summertime, but I will sit here and tell you that my husband and I used to put an 18-pack away in an afternoon in the summertime, and I think that's part of of my story. I definitely enjoyed it, but I think I was drinking too much. It kind of embarrasses me to say that on camera, but there were times that I would say, am I an alcoholic? Am I not an alcoholic? But I don't think I was. It just, I don't think my lifestyle was what it needed to be. So proud to sit here and say that I can limit myself now. I don't feel like I have to just drink a beer after beer after beer. And that's thanks to Beachbody. So I'm like maybe 3 beers. And I changed the kind of beer I drink, so I also can't just polish off, 9 Coronas in an afternoon. I tend to like the beers that are less processed, heavier in calorie, but less processed. But yeah, so I don't know what else to say about that. On the weekends, we tend to hang out outside. We have a built-in fireplace, and the kids play, and the neighbors come over, and we have fire, roast marshmallows, do s'mores and stuff like that. We listen to music out here. We're kind of homebodies sometimes, but we also like to gamble. There's a couple of casinos in Cleveland, and we like to go there and spend money and gamble. That would also be my favorite vacation destination. My husband and I love going to Las Vegas, so the last couple of years we went. Last year we had a blast with our neighbors. This year our neighbors didn't want to go, but we really wanted a vacation with our neighbors, so we just booked a trip to Clearwater Beach, Florida with our neighbors in the fall. So I think I've only been to Florida one time, so the place we're staying at looks beautiful, so I'm sure it'll be great, but you can never beat the Vegas weather. Come on. But we will be back in Vegas next year for my husband's 40th birthday. There's a bunch of friends that are turning 40 next year, so we'll be going out there to celebrate. Music I listen to like everything. I am the person in the car who's constantly hitting seek, or going through my Google Play and singing like 5 seconds of the first song and say, oh yeah, I really like that song, fast forward to the next song. So I like country, I like rap, I like R&B, I like classical music. I really like everything. What I would say my go-to is, though, on my playlist, I listen to a lot of Coldplay. Dave Matthews Band is kind of a big one. He's coming in concert this week, so we'll be going to see him. Of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't tell you what I listen to, but I love everything that's on the radio, basically. What are my 5-year goals? So I definitely want to be doing this thing full time, and I say that with a little hesitation, and I don't mean to, but this is really important to me, and I have to figure it out, just because that's how I am. My husband's supportive when he wants to be. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. So that's been a bit of a struggle, but I think he knows and tends to be maybe a little bit jealous that I have something that I'm really passionate about and that he is not super passionate about, and I get that too. So I do need to be better at my business hours. I do need to be better at going out of my comfort zone and inviting. So yeah, so that's pretty much all about me, and I'm really excited to learn more about you guys as you post your Family Fridays in the upcoming months. So hope you all have an amazing 4th of July, and I'll see you on the next call. Bye.